Listen up. In one of the biggest political and corruption explosions in Nigeria right now, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has publicly accused a powerful government regulator of massive embezzlement and corruption. And that regulator has just resigned amid mounting controversy. Not only that, another powerful oil regulator, Gbenga Komolafe, also quit his job at the same time. And this story gets deeper, darker, and more dangerous the more you look at it. Today, we're not being politically correct. We're going to speak fact-zone truth, call out corruption, point fingers where they belong, and ask the real questions. Did a top Nigerian public official steal taxpayers' money? Did the system protect him until someone with real power exposed corruption? Did Dangote expose corruption, or are bigger forces at play? And will anything change, or is this just a media cover-up to bury the story? By the end of this video, you will understand everything Nigerians don't know about what happened, how it started, and what it means for this country. Let's start with the key players. Engineer Farouk Ahmed. He was the managing director/CEO of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. That's the government agency that regulates distribution, pricing, refining, and all the downstream oil business in Nigeria. Gbenga Komolafe. He was the CEO of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, which regulates oil exploration, drilling, and upstream activities in the oil sector. Both men were appointed to these powerful positions by former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2021. And then there is Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, owner of the Dangote refinery, the largest single refinery in Africa. He is a billionaire industrialist whose refinery was supposed to help Nigeria stop importing fuel and instead produce enough for the country. Now, why is Dangote involved in accusing government officials of corruption? We're going to unpack that step by step. This whole saga kicked off when Dangote publicly accused Farouk Ahmed of corruption and abuse of office. According to Dangote, Farouk spent more than $5 million, about $7 million in some reports, on the education of his 4 children in Switzerland, paid up front, all allegedly from public funds, not from his salary as a public servant. Dangote said that Farouk's earnings throughout his entire working life, all as a government official, could never legitimately produce that kind of money. Yet his children were schooling abroad for millions of dollars. He accused Farouk of abusing his regulatory powers and diverting public funds for personal gain. Dangote didn't just whisper these accusations. He went on national television and spoke openly at his refinery in Lekki, Lagos, and then formally filed a petition to the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, asking them to investigate, prosecute, and if necessary, arrest Farouk Ahmed. In his petition, Dangote named the Swiss schools, the amounts paid, and insisted that taxpayers deserve accountability, that people paying taxes should see where their money is going. But this wasn't just about millions in school fees. Dangote also alleged that the NMDPRA, under Farouk's watch, was issuing import licenses for petrol and diesel, flooding the market with imported fuel instead of protecting and prioritizing local refining like his own refinery. This, he said, was sabotaging local production and hurting Nigeria's economy. This is where the story shifts from simple corruption allegation to an oil power struggle tied to Nigeria's economic future, and where the public started paying real attention. Dangote's message was raw and unfiltered. He accused Farouk of corrupt enrichment, spending beyond legitimate income. He accused him of breach of the code of conduct for public officers. He accused him of abuse of office, using his position to benefit himself and his family. And he accused the regulator of economic sabotage, undermining local refining and promoting imports. Dangote said, and I quote, his concern, taxpayers deserve to know how billions of public funds are being used and who is using them. He emphasized that while many Nigerians struggle to pay school fees of even a few thousand naira, here was a man who allegedly spent millions of dollars from the public purse to educate children abroad without clear explanation. This struck a nerve because it touched on something Nigerians already feel, that the elite in government live an entirely different economic life from ordinary citizens, using public office to enrich themselves while the masses struggle. Dangote didn't stop at words. He demanded ICPC investigate under Section 19 of the ICPC Act, which could lead to criminal prosecution and imprisonment if a prima facie case is established. Now, you might expect Farouk to fight back in public, a fiery press conference, statements on social media, denial after denial. But no. Instead, Farouk issued a disclaimer saying that he had no intention to engage in public back and forth with Dangote. He described the allegations as wild and spurious, meaning he rejected them, but said he would leave it to the formal investigative process to determine the truth. Here's what he said in simple terms: "I won't be dragged into social media or press battles. If there is any investigation, let it be done properly and dispassionately." In other words, instead of publicly defending himself, Farouk chose to stay silent and let the ICPC handle it, even though ICPC investigations in Nigeria often take years or go nowhere.
This silence, of course, made people wonder, is he guilty? Is he hiding something? Or does he think the system will protect him no matter what? The public deserves to know. Now here's where things get even more interesting. On the same day that Farouk Ahmed resigned, Gbenga Komolafe, CEO of another major oil regulator, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, also stepped down. The presidency quickly moved to nominate replacements for both agencies and sent their names to the Senate for approval. But why would gazettes and the presidency accept two resignations at once, especially when one of them was clearly tied to public corruption allegations? Some people are saying this: Komolafe quit because he was next on the chopping block, or there was internal pressure in the oil sector, a fight between regulators and Dangote's refinery interests. And let's not forget, these regulatory agencies control licenses, permissions, importation rights, and guarantees in the oil industry, the most lucrative sector of the Nigerian economy. Whether Komolafe was corrupt or merely collateral damage is still unclear. But for many Nigerians, this smells like a system protects the cronies first, expose one scapegoat publicly, and bury the real network. We should ask ourselves this: why would a private oil billionaire publicly confront a government regulator? Is it a genuine fight against corruption? A business rivalry? A battle over who controls oil imports and licenses? Or a mix of all three? Dangote's refinery, the biggest in Africa, needs support from regulators to operate profitably and reduce fuel imports. But if regulators are issuing import licenses too freely, that makes imported petrol cheaper and undermines the business case for local refining. So, the fight has two fronts: corruption allegations against Farouk and a possible oil policy battle over who controls the energy market in Nigeria. Some analysts say this could be a real fight for accountability in the oil sector. Others say Dangote himself is using his power and influence to pressure regulators for his own advantage. Whichever way you look at it, billions of dollars are at stake, and the public is left to wonder who the real villains are. Let's talk real talk. Corruption in Nigeria is not just about one regulator. Time and time again, Nigerians see public officials living lifestyles that defy their official salaries. Billions of dollars flow through government coffers, yet local schools can't fix classrooms, hospitals lack basic equipment, and millions of citizens struggle to survive day to day. Every time a scandal breaks, some catch the headlines like this one, while many more remain covered up, forgotten, or swept under the carpet. Farouk Ahmed might be guilty, or he might be innocent, but the system that allowed someone to allegedly accumulate millions on a public servant income needs to be questioned. And when the richest private citizen in Africa, someone like Dangote, becomes the one calling out corruption, that says something shocking about the state of Nigerian governance. So here's the million-dollar question. Did Farouk and Komolafe resign because of real corruption, or is this a political cover-up to protect deeper corruption networks? Some Nigerians believe the shakeup is just damage control, a way to put Farouk and Komolafe out of public view while the powerful remain untouched. Others think this could be the first step toward a real anti-corruption movement if ICPC follows through with the transparent investigation and if the public refuses to forget this story. But we have to be real. Nigeria's track record on corruption investigations is weak. Cases die in court, evidence disappears, and the powerful walk free. So the real question for Fact Zone viewers is this a genuine crackdown on corruption or just another public distraction while the real thieves continue their work behind closed doors? Here's the bottom line. A public regulator was accused of corruption worth millions. The richest man in Africa took the fight to the ICPC and the media. The regulator resigned without a strong public defense. Another top regulator also resigned at the same time. The presidency moved fast to install new names. But Nigerians can't forget, corruption isn't about one man, it's a system. And until transparency, accountability, and justice actually happen, not just headlines, this story may be just another episode in Nigeria's corruption theater. So let me ask you, Fact Zone viewers, do you think this was a real fight against corruption, or just a powerful man using his influence to settle scores and protect his interests? Will the ICPC actually investigate and prosecute, or will this all disappear in a year like so many other scandals? Drop your answer in the comments and don't hold back. This is Trend Fusion. No filter, no compromise, just facts.